Troubleshooting is probably one of the biggest things we do as a coach. When we are at a game or we're in a practice, we always give constant tips and things that we see to batters to help them out to be more successful. When we're in practice is when we want to do most of our coaching. So in a practice situation or a batting cage situation, here's some of the things we want to look for, starting with the stance. I'm going to take Amy's bat, and we're going to make sure that she has a good straightforward stance. Every time that I teach, I try to teach a basic, proper mechanic as opposed to what we call a Band-Aid. A Band-Aid might be, hey, Amy's not very good at hitting outside corner pitches. Maybe she's stepping out. So what she'll do is she'll take this foot in here and drop this foot back so she's got a closed stance. Okay, so do that for me. Good. Now, what she's done is made it better for her to hit outside corner pitches, but made it harder to hit an inside corner pitch. So she's created a Band-Aid. Fixed one thing, but didn't fix the whole picture. So one of the things we want to do in practice is drill over and over and over again, is the basic common way, so that when you go into a game, that we do everything straightforward. Okay? So I'm her coach, I'm coming up, and I'm going to have Amy step off to the side, and we're going to work on our batter stance. Amy, this is your foot guide here. We want to keep your toes on that straight line. Okay? So we're going to come on in, and we're going to line up our feet in a straight line. Okay? We're going to make sure that the same line that we're on with our feet is the same line we are with our hips, and the same line with our shoulders. Okay? Now, without a bat, get in your batter stance and look out there at the pitcher. Now, if I'm a coach and I stand from in front and I'm looking, as you are now, you could see that I could see her hands, her shoulders, hips, and her feet are all in the straight line. Okay? Now, I'm going to take a look. Once she's lined up, I'm going to make sure that her feet are nice and wide. To me, that looks good. One rule of thumb on that is that you want to have, if you take your shoulders and have a straight line coming down, okay, there's one there, here's one here. We want to be a few inches outside of that. So if Amy were to go to shoulder width and scoot her feet together, okay, I call this the hitting scooch, where you take your feet and spin them out just like that. Okay, that's pretty much enough to widen up those feet a little bit so they're just outside our shoulder width, to create that good balanced V. Here in Southern California, we call it the Anaheim Angel A. We got from the belly button to the foot, from the belly button to the foot, there's our A that we create, so we're nice and wide. If we get our feet too close together, and go and do that for me, too close. Okay? Now what that's going to do is create kind of a narrower stance where she's not as balanced, and will force her to take a longer stride. One of the processes that we see consistently in the All-Star dugout when we're teaching is if we start too close, we're going to step to this spot. Okay? So Amy's going to get to a comfortable stride position. Okay? That's where she feels good. We call that a post stride, or after she steps. Now, if I can get Amy to start her foot here next to my bat, she's still going to step to that post-stride spot. So if she can start a little wider to create a smaller step, it'll make her swing a little bit quicker. Okay? So in review there, we want to make sure that our feet are lined up straight with our hips and our shoulders. We want to be, as a pitcher, be able to see her hands out in front of her body. Okay? We want to make sure that she's nice and wide and balanced with a nice slight knee bend to help relax those muscles. Okay? And these are a couple of things to look for in your batter stance. The next one is the load. We went over the description at the beginning, and now again we're going to do a real basic drill on how we can work on the loading process when we hit. Okay, so I'm going to have Kevin get in his batter stance, and what I'm going to do as a coach is I'm going to stand behind him, and I'm going to grab him right above the rib cage, and I'm going to have him push back with his body without moving his hands. Okay, so go back, and now Kevin, can you feel the resistance here when I push back?
Yes.
Okay, so let's try it again. So what I want you to do is the whole body moves back, our hands stay in the hitting position, but I'm giving him a little bit of resistance, and to remind him that we want to stay short, let's do it one more time. Short without load, keep our hands in that hitting position, and then we're ready to go. Now, if we're going to turn, face the camera this way, so turn sideways. Okay, good. Now, a couple things to look for in the load. We're getting our stance, we want to have those hands back here, behind our shoulder. Okay? So again, when we load, our hands aren't going to move. It's the body that moves the hands. And the other one is our knee down here. So I'm going to borrow Kevin's bat for a second. We want to keep this knee on the inside of our foot. Okay? So when Kevin loads back, let's try it again. Get in your good stance, your hands back. We're going to load our body back. We're going to keep this knee inside that foot. So we should feel pressure on the inside of this leg when we're loading back. Okay? So let's try it again. Okay? So we're working on our load now. So it's back, and we feel that pressure. Okay? Then we step and go forward and swing. Okay? So in the load, a couple things to look for is make sure that this back side doesn't fall back this way. We just push up against a firm coach holding him still. Okay? Maybe remind him to keep that front knee inside the foot so we're not having that knee go behind our foot this way. You want to have the pressure coming up against it. And keep that load nice and small. The next one is see the ball. We already told you a little bit earlier here about how important watching the ball is, and this is probably one of the biggest ones to drill to get those ideas in the head of the young hitter on how to watch that ball when it comes in. Hey, first I want to introduce here a little bit about how to hit off a tee. As simple as this is, and as much work as we do on it, we want to make sure that we're lined up in the right spot. So if I take and grab Amy's bat and make sure that her feet are lined up straight, like they are, we want to make sure that our front foot is lined up right with the tip of the tee. Okay? So we want to get it all the way to the back. So when she goes to her post stride position, or after she steps, she's then still going to be behind the ball to where she can hit it out in front of her body. So we always want to be lined up at the back of the tee so we can hit it out in front. Now this location is also pretty much a pitch that you would hit that would be down the middle in a game situation. So the first drill we're going to work on is one of the most basic ones, is just working on keeping your head still. So what Amy's going to do is get in her good stance, and she's going to load and swing, and she's going to kick a swing where she's not going to take her eyes off that tee as she swings and frees. Okay, when you're ready. Stop. Good. Now her head doesn't move and her eyes stay focused right in this area. This is the most important area in hitting. We watch the ball come in, but this last few feet right here is where every contact happens in baseball and softball. Okay, so we want to make sure that we train our young guys to keep that head still in that area. So let's try that again. Okay, so get in your good stance. Okay, load, swing, and freeze. Stop. So again, there's very minimal head motion here. Now, if I take Amy's bat from her, let go. Okay, get in your good stance. Now, in hitting, this part of your head wants to stay pretty quiet. So she's going to look out there at the pitcher, okay? And she's going to keep her head pretty still throughout her swing while her body violently rotates because she's trying to hit that ball hard. Hey, so let's do that. Get in your good stance. Hey, I'm going to hold your head still, focusing on that tee area there. Okay, so load back, swing and freeze. Good. So when she goes through and swings, we want her as a reminder to keep this head completely still, and that gives us the best chance to focus on that ball as it comes in. The body will rotate underneath it. We want to keep that head still as we're watching the ball come in. All right, the next drill we're going to do is a drill that Amy and I do all the time. It's the mini golf ball drill, and this really helps you focus on keeping the head still and watching it all the way in. Obviously, you got a small ball, and you could do this with a thinner bat that they make especially for these golf balls, or a regular size bat like we're going to use now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoot back about 10 or 15 feet away. We got a nice windy day here, and we're going to make sure that we get good, accurate throws in. Obviously, this is something that she's probably not going to be able to hurt me with when she hits it back at me. But we want to make sure that she creates kind of an accurate environment. Hey, so she's seeing the same type of pitch and release that she would in a game. Hey, so as I scoot back here, we're going to work on keeping her head still and hitting these guys. All right, so we're about 15 feet out. Okay, she's going to go ahead and get in her good stance, and I'm going to throw her a nice underhand firm toss as it comes in. Good. Hey, just get that good load back when I swing. Back. Good. Keep that head still. Don't worry about where they go. Watch it all the way into your bat. Good. That's it right there. Excellent. Good. Okay, let's do two more. Good job. Okay, focus right here out of my hand. Watch it all the way in. Inside.